I'd like to show you my old speakers from back in the 80s. And these are getting wrecked, or not from being like damaged or anything, but from normal wear and tear. My finger and hand can actually go through these. These are just not even trying it, they're just falling apart. So my thing is, I don't throw away buy new things. I like to repair old things, to reuse them, to recycle them. And I looked everywhere around my house because my thing is, if I have something that I think may work to repair something, I'll use it. If I don't, well, I can share something else, like maybe a new speaker. But I found this website that ships repair kits for a speaker. And it comes with the manual, bill of sale, of course. But it's the rubber or the material that's broken away to replace it with brand new ones. And you can get them in different colors. I got mine black because my original is black. But back in the 80s, they also had orange and red. That I was thinking that if this was this wasn't translucent, I would, and this was black, I would get orange or red for a different color. But these things are good because another project later, I will be putting lights behind here to go with the music, so that'd be cool. But anyway, the repair kit came with these rubber, and they come with this adhesive to put on. And as you can see, I already have this one cleaned up and out, ready to install some new felt. Now we got the speaker demounted and cleaned up best we can. We have to check, make sure that this is going to fit properly. And looks like it's just about right. So we can move on. Actually, it is actually perfect because it lines up perfectly with the old one. And there's some dirt on here already. Yeah, didn't mean to do that. So, what we have to do, first thing is, we have to take the adhesive and we have to put a 1/8 loop, and it drips really fast and easy around the edge here. And it smells like super glue. Wow, it really smells. So if you have any health problems, please use a respirator. And you have any spillage like that, clean it up quick as possible. I actually have some glue remover, adhesive remover, so I'll be sure to use some of that. Now, we have to stick the cone, or actually we have to stick this to the cone. We have to work it around for several minutes. Make sure everything gets in there properly. And everything. And then, after working this around for several minutes, we have to let this part set to dry for 1 hour before we can move on to the next step. So while it's drying for 1 hour, take out your out of speaker and take out your out of speaker. It's already starting to dry. You can feel it sticking now. It's not as bad as what it was before. And so yeah, once it dries, we can move on to gluing the top down. Now we can work on the second speaker while that one's doing its thing. You can see that there's even glue. See all this here? It's all dried up glue from the factory. So I'm not too worried if this crumbles, right? Now I'm just throwing it on the ground because I got hardwood floors. We can take off the beauty ring. Well, I used to work for General Motors, so I call these on trucks beauty rings that come off. So But they could be called dust caps or something. I don't really care. I call them beauty rings. Anyway, yeah, this absolutely crumbles. Like I said, there's tons of glue on here. That's easy enough to clean up. Now, I also got a whole, like pushed in cone here. Oh, this is called a cone. I'm not really sure what that's called. But I need to get that out. Now, I could use a needle or maybe a little hot glue and clean it up afterwards. So, now what I want to try to do is, I want to try to, this is simply light paper. So what I want to try to do is try to find something that I could use to poke in there very gently, about pushing it back down, and pull it up. Also, I don't want to go too far to hit the coil. Now, I don't think the coil is there. Anyway, but they can pull it up like that. Grab it, pull it out, and we can just simply get it looking back roughly how it's supposed to be. Because it's paper, it's going to be hard to get the original shape back, but yeah, looks pretty good now. The first part is dry, and I have waited the whole hour, but I feel that it didn't need that hour. That I felt like it seemed to, after like 15 seconds, it grabbed, like it firmed up and it grabbed the felt. But after like 30 seconds or so, it stuck on there tight and did not, like I tried to do minor corrections and it did not want to move. And so I think like 45 minutes will probably do you just fine. But let's pull this back, and now we gotta add a good 1/8 of an inch bead all over here. Make sure I get an 1/8 inch bead in here. I think they gave you way too much super glue, but it's okay. Oh, didn't mean to drop it yet. And my computer just made a funny noise. I'll figure out what that is in a minute. Or they might just give you just enough. I mean, by doing both speakers, and I feel that doing the out of edge here uses a bit more. Makes it all connected. And then find where I put the cap. It was right there the entire time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there'd be extra glue later. But now we got a couple seconds of kneading this. Now, the other thing is you want to double check the cone as well. Make sure it's centered because there's a coil in there. And it's a magnetic coil. And you don't want to touch you want to be in the exact center. And if it's not in the exact center, then it's not going to, there you go. This one's a lot easier to stick in the exact center, but, yeah. Anyway, get this thing glued down, and then we can wait another hour and get the beauty ring glued down. I got some glue on my fingers, that's not good. Then once it starts to grab a hold like it is now, and it doesn't take long, you know, by looking at the manual, it says do this for several minutes, but I think after like 30 seconds, right, it grabs hold, nice and firm. It's now nicely laid out, or make sure there's no more air bubbles. Like, you know, it seems to be like at first had a ripple effect, but now most of that is gone because the glue is grabbing a hold. And now we wait 1 hour. Okay, so it's been another hour. The glue has dried. Like I said, you probably don't need to wait that long. But now it's time to put what I call the beauty ring. It could be the gasket or something. And make sure the holes line up. Right there. There's the chin. So now we gotta glue this down. Now probably don't really need to, but the instruction manual does say to glue it down. So what I think is I'm gonna glue the plastic, put the glue on the plastic, because of it would probably be more difficult to judge the where to put it on the speaker. So the old one, the old glue was here on the plastic. So I'm just going to follow where the old glue was. A little bead. Make sure you don't drip it on the speaker. I haven't yet, but where am I? Right there. It's ready. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really hard for me to see where I am in correlation where I glued already. So then, once you got it glued, we'll paste it down right. Let's make sure that it's lined up with the holes. Yep, and yep. And push down. And if you have clamps, the clamps would help. I couldn't find any of my clamps, so I'm just going to just let it sit like that for a few minutes, or not for a few minutes, for a few seconds, and then I'll push down again to make sure that it's firmed, tightened up. And you're supposed to wait another hour, but I don't see why. If it's stuck on, and after like 10-15 minutes, then just bolt it back onto the speaker box, because it will hold it, the screws will hold it down firmly. And of course, when you put it back on, remember to, when you take it off, to mark, either mark where the plus and minus is, or to, unless it's already is marked, just remember, just remember the polarity that the speaker was plugged in. And then we can fire it up and see what happens. So now it's been another hour. I put some weight on it this time. We can pull this off. Old 8-track player. Pull it off the board. And now we could probably install, or actually we are going to install the speaker. Now of course, you check it. These are marked, so red for red, black for black, or positive and negative. The neat thing is this has like a couple of capacitors and stuff into this unit, so it's really cool. So plug it in. I would like to have a bit thicker wire maybe, but push that through, line it up. Oop, careful with the record player up top there. Once it's screwed in, we can use my little tool here. Once we get this thing screwed down, we can play some tunes. What I like to do on everything I bolt or screw down, I always do crisscross X tape thing. Now the speakers are installed. They absolutely look gorgeous. They're all brand new, or not the speakers brand new, but brand new part. Um, Honestly, it took very little effort to install. You did have to wait an hour per step, but I'm pretty sure you could probably get away with maybe half an hour, 45 minutes each step, probably even less time. But I wouldn't take too much of a chance. This company don't make stereos anymore, speakers. They used to. This is back in 1980s. This speaker, I had it for a really long time. I love it. Still sounds great. I think they used to also make cell phones. Now they make RC cars and planes and a whole bunch of cool, good stuff.